Guys, I'm back on YouTube finally, and it's been so long, but I'm ready to get back in the swing of things. And the first video for my return will be a book review of History's All You Left Me by Adam Silvera. It will be spoiler free, so nothing will be given away. Just some tidbits about, the characters and how they are, what happens, between them, how they cope. Because this book is definitely about coping and losing your first love. So it was very emotional to read, but it was a very good book. And I'm so glad I got to read it. I'm so glad I get to review it for you guys. So we have a couple, Griffin and Theo. They are two gay characters, of course. And they come out to each other on a subway stop. And that's really how their relationship really begins, by accident. But they've always had a thing for each other. So they slowly start to grow into the relationship and see how it goes. And it actually goes surprisingly well. Then things take a little turn where Theo actually goes off to college early and Griffin gets scared and he actually breaks up with Theo, believing that, he can't fit into Theo's life and all the new things that are happening because Theo is moving across the country. So Griffin doesn't really know how to handle it. In California, Theo meets Jackson, who is also a student, and they have a connection. And this really upsets Griffin whenever Theo mentions Jackson or, he sees Jackson pictures or on Skype or anything like that. This actually causes Griffin to lose hope in his relationship with Theo because he thought they were going to be endgame. But as it turns out, Theo and Jackson do start a relationship, and this really just puts a whole blow in his plans. Griffin is still a high school student when Theo's in college, so he's really by himself because they used to have another best friend, Wade. But then things happened between Wade and Theo, and they just started to just drift away, especially after Theo's death, which was an accidental drowning. The story is told in two different parts. We have the history part, which is Griffin and Theo's history and what happens leading up to Theo's death. And then we have, after Theo dies, we have his funeral. We have, what happens with Griffin coping. We have Jackson coming to New York. A lot of things happen that cause Griffin to just lash out. He has different ways of coping, which are very, very interesting. And it was kind of odd to read about it, the way he coped, because it's just like he's putting himself out there. I'll say it that way. It's definitely interesting to see Griffin and Jackson getting closer because of Theo's death, but it was also just an odd thing because Jackson was Theo's last boyfriend and Griffin just hated Jackson. He didn't want to see anything about Jackson, didn't want to hear about Jackson, even though Jackson is kind of like Griffin's doppelganger a little bit. So it was very interesting to read how their relationship built throughout the story, and it just didn't seem to fit. For example, if you read other stories, you'll see that, someone grieving will come together with the main character and they have some kind of connection, but not Jackson and Griffin. Jackson and Griffin are just two different people, and it was very odd just to see them get closer because it didn't seem right in my eyes, just because of Theo, because Theo, even though he's dead, is that one obstacle that they cannot get past. It's kind of like a game of who loves who more, and they kept playing that back and forth, and there's a moment in the story where you're just kind of staring at the page like, I don't think that's really supposed to happen. That's kind of weird, but okay, we'll just go on with it. I'm not saying it's a bad thing that happened, but it's just really sad to see Griffin cope with Theo's death and the mechanisms that he took for it. It was just very, very strange. But it was a very good read and very interesting to see Griffin's journey to find himself again. Theo's character was, I found, to be a bit egotistical because he wasn't egotistical in the very beginning of their history. But when he started to realize he could go to college early, he did start to get a little big on himself, especially when he was already at college. He wouldn't really pay much attention to Griffin, and I thought that was kind of rude. It was unnecessary. Like, you have this guy back home who is in love with you. You're in love with him, so why would you ignore him? I mean, I know it's college, but still. I couldn't really identify with Theo. I didn't really understand his attitude towards certain things. I really understood Griffin because this is his first real love. He's known Theo for so long. He had a connection with Theo, but Theo himself is just a character you don't really want to like, but then you kind of do like, so it's really complicated. I want to talk about the ending of the story. The ending of the story is the present time. It's been a couple months since Theo's death, and we have Wade back in the picture. As it turns out, Wade is also gay and or bisexual. It's not really told clearly, but apparently Wade does have a thing for Griffin. And that's why they kind of grew apart, because Wade wanted what Theo and Griffin had, but it was hard for him to admit that. But the ending was kind of random to me, but also sweet, because Griffin did find some sort of happy ending and some sort of closure with Theo's death and everything that happened after Theo's death. But I did find the ending kind of just, I didn't expect it. I mean, it's not a bad ending. It's a really good ending, because we get sort of a happy ending with Griffin. But then there's, you know, kind of Wade in the picture a little bit. And after reading it, I just thought to myself, like, okay, all right, I can accept that. I didn't expect it, but I can accept it. This book itself is totally centered on LGBT theme. And you don't see that a lot in literature. I can see it definitely growing. Every time I go to the bookstore or I look online or hear about book news from other authors, I can see that theme growing, and it's just amazing to see, because I love to read this kind of theme. Of course, I do love to read heterosexual romances as well, but I just love the homosexual romances too. It is also just as sweet as heterosexual romances, and I'm a big supporter of the LGBT movement. And I just really love how authors put together that kind of relationship, whether the author may be heterosexual or homosexual. Adam Silvera is a homosexual, and the way he writes these characters and their relationship is just so spot on, and it's just so adorable that I just could not love it. History Is All You Left Me is actually the first book I've read of Adam Silvera, but I do have More Happy Than Not on my bookshelf, but I do want to read more of his work. I've actually got his next book, They Both Died In, on my list to hopefully get as another advanced copy. So I'm very excited to read more of his work and to see where he's going to go in the world. Thank you guys so much for watching my review video for History Is All You Left Me. It comes out Tuesday, January 17th, 2017. It's a really good book. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. I really think you guys should read it. It's romantic, it's heartbreaking, it's full of angst. It's just everything that you could ever want in a contemporary book that has this theme that you're looking for. Be sure to check out my Instagram page, my Facebook, my Twitter account, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!